There is a silent struggle happening all around us. You see it in men at the gym. You see it in the warehouses, construction sites, offices, delivery trucks. You see it in the fathers, husbands, brothers, friends, men carrying responsibilities, expectations, failures, regrets, and pressures that few people ever notice. From the outside, they look fine. They show up to work. They pay the bills. They smile when they're supposed to. But inside, something is changing. The dreams they once had began to fade. The goals they once pursued started collecting dust. The confidence they once carried slowly disappears. Not because they're weak, not because they lack potential, but because life has a way of wearing people down. One setback becomes another. Failed relationship, a financial problem, a health issue, a job that feels like a dead end. Months turn into years, and before they realize it, they stop believing things can get better. They begin surviving instead of building, existing instead of growing, waiting instead of acting. And perhaps the most dangerous part is that it happens slowly. Nobody wakes up one morning and decides to quit on themselves. It happens one compromise at a time, one excuse at a time, one postponed goal at a time, one abandoned promise at a time, until eventually, the person staring back in the mirror becomes somebody they barely recognize. The truth is, many men are fighting battles nobody sees. Battles with self-doubt, fear, regret, disappointment, loneliness. The fear they started too late. The fear they wasted too much time. The fear that they've already missed their opportunity. Yet, there's a lie that keeps many people trapped. The lie is this: someone's coming to save you. Maybe the perfect opportunity. Maybe the perfect mentor. Maybe more motivation. Maybe the perfect timing. Maybe someday. But someday is a dangerous place, because many dreams die there. The reality is, nobody's coming to save you. And while that statement may sound harsh, it's actually one of the most freeing truths a person can discover. Because the moment you stop waiting for the rescue is the moment you begin taking ownership. Ownership changes everything. Ownership says, this is my life. These are my decisions. These are my results. And these are my responsibilities. It doesn't mean life is fair. It doesn't mean bad things won't happen. It doesn't mean circumstances don't matter. It means that regardless of what has happened, you still have a choice regarding what happens next. That choice is where rebuilding begins. Not with motivation, not with inspiration, not with a perfect plan, with a decision. A decision to continue. A decision to take the next step. A decision to stop negotiating with excuses. Many people think rebuilding your life requires a massive transformation. In reality, rebuilding often starts with something much smaller. A walk, a workout, reading 10 pages, waking up earlier, applying for the better job, having a difficult conversation, keeping a promise you made to yourself. Small actions repeated consistently become evidence. Evidence that you are changing. Evidence that you are capable. Evidence that your future does not have to look like your past. And that evidence matters. Because confidence isn't created by positive thinking. Confidence is created through proof. Proof that you can trust yourself. Proof that you will follow through. Proof that you're becoming the person you said you wanted to become. The men who rebuild themselves are not necessarily the most talented. They're not necessarily the strongest. They're not necessarily the smartest. More often than not, they're simply the ones who refuse to quit. They keep going when progress is invisible. They keep going when nobody notices. They keep going when results are delayed. They keep going because they understand something important. Their future belongs to those who stay in the fight long enough. Every meaningful transformation takes longer than expected. Every worthwhile goal takes longer than expected. Every rebuilding process takes longer than expected. But time passes either way. The question is whether you will use that time to build something better or continue waiting for circumstances to change. The responsibility is yours. The opportunity is yours. The next step is yours. Maybe that's exactly what you needed to hear. Not that you're broken. Not that you're hopeless. Not that your best years are behind you, but that your story is still being written. As long as you're breathing, there's still work to be done. There are still promises to keep. There are still goals worth pursuing. There are still people who need a man you are capable of becoming. So if life has knocked you down, get up. You've fallen behind. Start where you are. And if you made mistakes, learn from them. You've been waiting. Stop waiting. The rebuilding process begins today. One decision, one action, one day at a time. Keep going.